Hello to all my college football fans and friends out there. Welcome to another sports edition of the Buckeye Vinny YouTube channel sports show. My friends, sit back, relax, and let's talk some college football. And especially the Cotton Bowl played last night in Texas with the Miami Hurricanes defeating my Buckeyes 24-14. My hat off to the Miami Hurricanes. The better team won last night, without a doubt. Congratulations. Miami will be moving on to play the winner of the Georgia Bulldogs and Ole Miss Rebels, game that will be played New Year's Day. But anyways, my friends, let's talk overall. Let's first start with the Buckeyes. Buckeyes finish off the season 12 wins, 2 losses. I think a lot of Buckeye fans, myself included, disappointed, okay? I thought for sure that we had a very good chance of getting back to the national championship and winning it. We all know how difficult it is to repeat as college football national champions. But, bottom line, I mean, all in all, it was a very enjoyable, exciting, fun year if you were a Buckeye fan. You know, what more can you want? We ended up beating the team up north, and that's always a special win for a Buckeye Nation fan, is beating the team up north. And then let's stop and look. We did, for the most part, have a fairly young team, especially offensively. Redshirt freshman quarterback Julian Sayin, and what a splendid year he had, without a doubt. True freshman from Cleveland, Bo Jackson. What a year he had, finishing the season with 1,100 yards rushing and 6 rushing touchdowns on the year. What a job he did. But overall, my friends, bottom line, if you remember my last video, I said that the game would come down to who would win in the trenches. And I said it would be the Buckeyes O-line against the Miami's very tough physical D-line. And whoever controlled the line of scrimmage would win this game. Well, bottom line, Miami controlled the line of scrimmage. Miami's defensive line was stronger, faster, more physical, and that's what happened. And I believe me, in the back of my mind, I was a little concerned going into this game. Okay, just to see how our O-line would be stacked up against Miami's defensive line. And, like I said, I tip my hat. Coach Cristobal for the Miami Canes, he brought it. He had a splendid game plan. He wanted to establish the run, and they did just that. Mark Fletcher Jr., 19 carries, 90 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And what a job he did. Factor in wide receivers Daniels, 5 grabs for 49 yards. And Marion, 5 grabs for 36 yards. But how about Carson Beck? Carson Beck played a type of game that he did nothing to hurt his team. He did everything to help his team. 19 out of 26. He only passed for 138 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. And that's what I'm getting at. He did not hurt his team. My friends, when it got to the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, where the Buckeyes needed drastically defensive stops to get the ball back, Carson Beck came through. I'll never forget, it was 3rd and 9. And I think this took the air out of all the Buckeye fans. 3rd and 9. And if Miami would not have gotten it, they would have had to punt the football. Now, at this time of the game, the score was 17-14, okay? And the Buckeyes could have gotten the ball back. Nope. Carson Beck on 3rd and 9 scrambled for 11 yards, and that moved the sticks, and that was a first down. Kept the clock rolling. That hurt us big time. Also, I believe it was 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6, and Carson Beck hooked up with a very splendid receiver, Tony, for another first down to keep the drive going and to eat the clock up. So, bottom line, my friends, it came down to this. Buckeyes, was it me, or did it look like the Buckeyes haven't played in 2 to 3 weeks. That's because it's true. The Buckeyes' last game they played was against Indiana, okay, for the Big Ten championship. And, I'm sorry. I am not a big believer in, automatic, you'll get an automatic bye in the first round. That will help you out. No, not in all situations, my friends. For me, I think this hurt the Buckeyes drastically, okay? Because the Buckeyes came out very flat. 0 points in the first half. 0 points. Now, I know the pick six by Keontae Scott in the first half did not help the cause. And the Buckeyes went into intermission down 14-0. Second half, it looked like the Buckeyes regrouped and was able to move the football better. They scored 2 second half touchdowns. The Buckeyes did outscore Miami in the second half 14-10, but bottom line, it was just too late. You can't start to come out and start playing football in the third and fourth quarter. You need to come right out of the gate. And Miami did come out of the gate. I stop and look at this, though. Total offense, Buckeyes outgained Miami. Buckeyes total offense, 332. Miami, 291. This is what jumped out at me, my friends. And I said that the Buckeyes would have to stop this very good running back in Fletcher. Miami, total rushing yards, 153 to the Buckeyes, 45. That was it, 45 yards. Bo Jackson led the ground attack, 11 carries for 55 yards and 1 touchdown. But my friends, this is not a mistake. Julian saying 5 carries minus 42 yards. The young man was running for his life. Once again, it was almost a carbon copy of the Indiana game where Julian was sacked 5 times against the Hoosiers. I believe this time he was sacked for sure 5, maybe 6 times against the very strong defense of Miami. Julian saying 22 out of 35, 287 yards passing, 1 touchdown strike. That was to Jeremiah Smith. 2 interceptions in this game. Bottom line, my friends, no sooner than Julian saying caught the ball from shotgun position, he had defensive Kane players in his face the entire game. Not good. At this point, once again, he's a redshirt freshman. He will learn. If Julian, if you're watching this video, my young friend, just throw the ball out of bounds. Okay, get rid of it. Stop taking the 15 to 20 yard sack each time. Chuck the ball out of bounds and get rid of it. Who cares about your stats? Throw the ball out of bounds. Unfortunately, Julian hung on to it. And how many times the Buckeyes, instead of being, say, 2nd down and 7, 2nd and 5, all of a sudden it was 2nd and 15, okay? Or 3rd and 20. You got to get rid of the football. You cannot hang on to it and take 15 to 20 yard sacks. Jeremiah Smith, what more can you say? Big Ten All-American, 7 grabs, 157 receiving yards, and 1 touchdown catch. He did his best to keep his team in this game. But bottom line, Miami came to play. Miami last night, they were the better football team. I can humbly say. They were the better football team. They wanted it more. And it seemed as though they were the fresher football team. And this is what I'm getting at. Miami just played last week, okay, where they defeated A&M 10-3. Like I mentioned again, the Buckeyes looked as if they have not played in 3 weeks, and that's because that's what happened, okay? Buckeyes, to me, came out very flat, okay? Offensive line, very slow last night, very slow. It looked to me as if Miami was playing with 12 guys on defense instead of 11. This is how quick Miami looked against our O-line. And once again, my friends, I said that the game would be won in the trenches, and Miami proved it right. I did have the Buckeyes winning this game, but nonetheless, Miami came to play. They really did. I thought Coach Cristobal did a phenomenal job with his game scheme, his game planning. And he knew exactly what to do. He must have watched the Indiana Hoosiers Buckeye video because it was almost a carbon copy. He brought the pressure on Julian Sayin. And Julian Sayin from time to time looked like he was just running for his life. You know, stat-wise, 22 out of 35, 287 yards passing, okay? But the 2 interceptions obviously did not help. And, you know, the Buckeyes just seemed as though they could get nothing established on the ground. Like I mentioned, Buckeyes only 45 net rushing yards in the entire game. So I got to tip my hat to the Miami Hurricanes. Their defense brought it. I thought their linebackers played very well. Their defensive line, what more can you say? They played very well. And my friends, this is what happens. You know, Miami is not in the playoffs for nothing, okay? Miami now improves to 12-2 on the season. The Buckeyes end their 2025 season, 12 wins, 2 losses. Bottom line, my friends, it was a tough game to watch, tough game to swallow without a doubt. You know, but once again, this is what happens when you're flat. You know, like I said, the Buckeyes seemed like in the second half, Ryan Day, who called the entire game, he called all the plays, seemed as though he got the Buckeyes in the second half finally geared up and ready to play, but it's too late. You know, you got to come out right out of the gate, okay, like a thoroughbred, right out of the gate. You can't decide to want to start playing in the third and fourth quarter. It was too late, okay? But bottom line, when the Buckeyes needed stops in mid to late fourth quarter, they couldn't get them. They could not get them. Beck ended up coming through in the clutch for his team. Like I mentioned, a crucial 11-yard scamper to move the sticks and keep the clock running, and a very impressive pass to Tony to continue the drive going. And obviously, Buckeyes was forced to have to call timeouts, and that ate up a lot of clock. And bottom line, everything turns out to a 24-14 Buckeye loss. My friends, I hope everybody today enjoyed this game. Enjoyed this video. I'm sure the Canes enjoyed the game. Like always, my friends, if you haven't yet subscribed, please click on the subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, please click on the like button. And my friends, like always, not only do I love to read your comments, but I love to get back and respond to every comment that I do read. So please comment down below how you felt about this game. Like always, my friends, peace out. God bless you all. From my family to yours, a blessed and safe, happy New Year 2026. Don't forget, click on this face right up here to subscribe. And like always, keep on watching, keep on subscribing, and keep on liking. Bottom line, go Buckeyes. Yep, we lost, but overall, we will be back next season. OH, you finish. I'm out of here.